Alright guys, what is going on? It's Ryan here from TCR Adventure, and today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Honda Nx500. Now, there's plenty of reviews on this thing, so we're going to be pretty quick with it when we go through it here. I just want to kind of give you guys a brief overview of the bike, kind of what I've done to it, and how I'm enjoying it so far, now that I've got about 900 miles on it. So far, the few changes for this show, you can see some of the styling up front, the fairing, the fender doesn't stick out up here like the CB500X did. You do get a little bit different engine mapping, which provides a little bit smoother torque, a little bit better throttle response. You do get, it's pretty cool, and we'll get into this in a minute, but you do get the 5-inch TFT screen that you would find on the Transalp. So far I can say I'm really enjoying the bike. It's been great. Couple things I've done to it is I have done the Honda seat bag, or I'm sorry, tank bag, and if you do order this through Honda, you get the bag, but you are going to need this mount up here separate. They do sell this separate, it's a separate piece. So I gotta quit coming off there we go. So if you do go with the Honda bag, the tank bag, make sure you get the mount with it. I did do the quad lock mount right here for the clamp. Replaces one of your bolts, goes right in here. Of course, you're going to want the dampener. One thing I wish they would have added from the factory was this accessory switch, or socket I should say. It's a cheap thing from Honda. It's only about 21 bucks, 22 bucks, somewhere around there. But the issue is you are going to have to take off this whole fairing side to get to it, as it's back up under here. It is already pre-wired, so the plug's already there. You just have to take off the fairing, plug this in, tighten it down, and then get whatever kind of charging adapter you want to use for that. So that is one good thing. At least they've made it pretty easy. As far as storage goes, I went ahead and I just did the Nelson rig, the Adventure tail bag here. As you can see, it just takes basically your passenger rails back here. You just go ahead and clamp them around here. It does have some elastic bands to hold it in place, the straps, so they're not flapping around everywhere while you're riding. So I just actually got this a couple days ago. I've been pretty happy with it so far as storage goes. And again, the tank bag, as you guys can see, probably it's not a real big bag, but again, I went with another bag, but the issue I was having is the straps were going too far over here on the fairing where the plastic is, and they just weren't fitting quite as nice as the Honda bag is. Of course, it is made for this bike, so if you do go with the Honda bag, you'll have no issues fitting it. And it does have this nice where it bolts into the previous bolts. It does have these little buckles there to keep it on with magnets, just like most bags do. Under here I do have the little Honda tank pad, which is nice. If I do take the bag off, don't have to worry about scratching the bike up. One thing I did want to show everybody is the TFT gauge here. So I've got 896 miles on the bike now. One thing I will show you guys, it's pretty cool, is over here. So out of 892 miles, I've averaged 66.1 miles per gallon on this. And in the last 131, 66. So it's pretty consistent. You do have on this, you do have some settings you can play with. You can adjust shift points, display type, brightness, background, the info you want it to display, of course all your date, time, language, and you can set service intervals on the machine, which is nice. It'll keep you from guessing, so you can go in, maintenance, oil changes. I think I had it set to 3,400 miles, or 3,500, which is very soon. I believe the manual is like every 8,000 miles on this bike, but I don't know, I'm just a little precautious. Oil's a cheap insurance in my opinion, so every 3,500, 4,000 miles I go ahead and change mine. And you can change the display type as well. So I have the circle gauge, you can do a bar, you can do a simple, kind of whatever you like. I did the black background. You can change it to white if you don't like the black, so you do have that option. A couple things you do get from Honda, I should say, is you do get the Honda selectable torque control here, which is basically their version of like a traction control, which is nice. You do get ABS on the machine. One thing though, from a lot of the reviews and stuff I've read, is you don't have a way necessarily to turn off the ABS. So the issue is going to be with this bike is if you're riding it in the dirt, you don't necessarily have a way to turn off the ABS for it. So that is one thing to keep in mind here. You do get the pass lights up here and everything. So you just pretty standard now. Hazard lights, start, everything over there. The horn is kind of lackluster. You'll see a lot of reviews. The horn isn't the greatest, but again, they make plenty of upgrades out there for it if you do want to upgrade it. Another thing I did is the Honda center stand there, which does make it a little bit easier to work if you have to work on their, you know, back tire, oil changes. For lubing up the chain, I find it a lot easier just to have the center stand. And I want to say it's probably around 150 USD. Tank bag, I want to say the whole setup it is a little pricey. I want to say it's probably 130, 140 USD. And then I think, like I said, the accessory socket's about anywhere between $20 and $22 USD. But again, you do get a lot of great stuff. It already comes with the battery tender, you know, pre-wired there, so you can go ahead and keep your bike plugged in the winter if you store it, or you know, some people ride it. If you want to connect some heated gear there, you do have that if it goes off of a battery tender. So I will say, so far it's been pretty good. The few small issues I will say that I do have with the machine is, again, not to downgrade anything that Honda's done. I think they've made a great machine. For me, the seat is not the most comfortable. A lot of people actually really like the seat. I was not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of it. So I don't like this step right here in the back. It does create a little bit of pressure if you're taller. I'm 6 foot tall, and I've noticed a lot of these reviews with some taller people, it does create a little bit of tailbone pressure. So after, you know, an hour or so on the bike, you start getting uncomfortable. And I have noticed that's been a pretty common thing for most people. So what I have done, and it will be a few weeks out, I have ordered the Seat Concepts tall seat, which will basically get rid of this step and basically make it flat from front to back. Also does help with the rider triangle, you know, the bend in your knee down to the pegs, because for my size it's fine, but I would prefer to be just a little bit more stretched out. So with that being said, the taller seat will definitely help with that. The other things I am planning on doing is the seats coming in. I am going to plan on getting some hand guards here, and then I'll probably leave it. So my ultimate thought on this bike real quick, and is I absolutely love it for what it's made for. For me, it's a little bit of a back road touring bike. You will see throughout some of the video, it is geared pretty low. You can cruise in between 60 and 70 at no problem, but if you are going to go over that 70-mile-an-hour mark consistently, do a lot of freeway and highway riding at high speeds, I would suggest that you possibly look into, like, if you're going to try to stay Honda, like the Transalp or the Africa Twin, something like that, or like one of the Tigers from Triumph, 850 and larger. They have the V-Strom. Yamaha's got their adventure bikes. So if you're going to be doing like a lot of touring on highways, freeways, high speeds and whatnot, I would highly recommend that you guys look into something a little bit bigger, because you will see it is geared pretty low. Now with that being said, the thing is here, on this bike, it is a great back road bike for what it is built for, right? So the thing is on the machine is they have geared it low intentionally, because it's meant to be an entry-level bike for people that want to learn on a motorcycle, and also people, you know, that have been riding that want a lighter style bike. That is why I personally picked the Nx500. I think the lighter style bikes you can throw around in corners and stuff a lot easier. I've owned a lot of bikes in the past, from dual sports to, you know, other adventure bikes to leader bikes, sport bikes, everything, and cruisers. And I will say this is actually probably one of my favorite machines. The only issue, like I said, I have is it is geared pretty low. So if you're going to do some long touring stuff on high speeds regularly, I will say you might want to go with something a little bit larger if you're going to be going over that 65-70 mile an hour mark, because at 8,500 RPM, it does hit about 5,500 RPM, getting around that 65 mile-an-hour mark. If you push it up to 70, depending on wind and elevation, you're going to be hitting around almost 6,000 RPM. So I would say it's probably better to go with a little bit bigger engine if you're going to be doing some touring like that. But all things given, I do think the bike overall is a very great machine. I think Honda's done a really good job with it. I think you know, for the people that are doing it kind of like I am, you know, I've taken this thing on a 3-hour, you know, 110-mile ride the other day. Other than the seat being uncomfortable after that period of time for pushing my tailbone, I do think it's been a great bike so far. I'm excited to see where we go with it and what we can do with it. I'm excited to see what the new seat brings in terms of comfort. And like I said, it's a great bike for those who want like a back road touring style bike. Not to say that you can't do distance, by the way. I know a guy on a Facebook group that I'm part of. He just did a 75,000 kilometer 400-day ride on his CB500X. So not to say that it can't be done. You can absolutely tour these machines. You know, they are good little touring bikes. So I will say, you know, if it is something you're interested in, definitely check it out. There's been some people you know, questioning the price point. It is 7,400 USD, which I think is actually not bad compared to what you're getting in comparison to some of the other bikes. You know, you look at some of the other adventure bikes. KTM 390 does have some features that this doesn't, but then this one also has some features that doesn't. Overall, if you read some of the reviews, I think the Honda has the better value for the price than the KTM 390 does. And like I said, some people like the styling of adventure bikes, some people don't. I've had wrist surgeries from motorcycle accidents. I've got plates and pins in my wrist. I've had back surgeries, and I think that this bike, the sitting position, the posture you're in, is by far one of the best. So with that being said, I do enjoy the adventure bike. It's pretty easy maintenance too. I mean, your oil filter's right down there. Drain plugs underneath on the other side. They've made it very maintenance friendly. You know, so, and the good thing is you do get the 471cc parallel twin Honda engine. Honda's known for their reliability, great gas mileage. Again, guys, overall, I'd say it's a great bike. I would highly recommend you go to one of your local Honda dealers, check this thing out. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions on anything. And we have had some microphone issues today, so on some of the writing you're not going to hear me, unfortunately, but I will put some music and you can enjoy some of the West Virginia scenery. Thanks, guys.